Welcome to our continuing series on industrial communications using Wonderware software. In this video, we'll cover the essentials of configuring Wonderware's InTouch to communicate with PLCs. Our video series covers these communication topics, and it is generally recommended you watch the series in the order you see here. This video will focus on connecting tag-based InTouch applications to PLCs through the data access servers. If you're watching this video, you're probably trying to deliver an HMI using Wonderware's InTouch software. Hopefully you watched the previous videos and have your data access server connected to your PLC, which is the first critical step in this workflow. Now, let's see how to configure InTouch for external communications. Remember, we're looking at an InTouch standalone tag-based architecture, even if you're managing the application in a Galaxy environment. If you are using InTouch as a client to the system platform, and managing your PLC communications in the Galaxy, please see our video on how to set that up. Remember that InTouch communication channels are created through a configuration called an access name. Anytime you're looking to add tags from PLCs, reference tags in other Wonderware modules, or troubleshooting communications, the access name is the first place to start. Here's the configuration of an access name. It defines the four-part path to the data point or item in the PLC. Think of this as the opposite of your mailing address, with the house number first, then street, then city, then state, which is most specific out to most general. The Wonderware SuiteLink protocol uses the node, application, topic, item path, or hierarchy, which is the most general, drilling down to most specific. The node name tells InTouch to look on the network for a PC running Windows with this name. We'll discuss more about the basic networking principles involved with this shortly. The application name field says that once you find the node, look for an application, process, or service called DASabcip running there. The topic is the DAServer configuration, which in this case is DASabcip for control logics, and is an element that specifies the poll rate for the items referenced in that topic. Items are the most specific element in this four-part data path, and they're found in the configuration of an InTouch IO type tag, which points to or references the access name itself. Always use the SuiteLink protocol and advise only active items, which optimizes communication loading. Let's have a look at the software in action, but before we leave, note that the TCP/IP address for the control logics processor is 10.0.0.145. Okay, let's get to some technical details. So here we are on our engineering workstation, where we have our InTouch development system and where we have our DAServer for control logics installed as well. The first thing we'll confirm is that our DAServer for the control logics processor is configured. So here under our DAServer manager, we see the orchestra.dasabcip DAServer. We'll look at the configuration of that, drill down here, show all the pieces of the tree. We'll see this hierarchy is dictated to us by the Allen-Bradley CIP protocol. We notice here we have our Ethernet communications module, and we see there our TCP/IP address for our controller. A little further down we see our backplane, and then finally we see the slot where our processor is located, as well as the associated device groups, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. One thing to note is that all of these names here in this tree are really up to you. They're for your organizational purposes, and they're not being referenced by any external applications. The only configuration that's being referenced externally here are the device groups themselves in the form of topics. We'll talk about those shortly. There's a lot of configuration items here we won't cover here today. Did want to give you some resources to use to get to those details. For example, here on the InSource Knowledge Center, which is at insource.mindtouch.us, just go to our "Which driver should I use for my PLC" landing page, where you'll find all the Wonderware DA servers. Lots of good information here, including supported devices, communication mediums, operating system support, as well as users guides. You can drill down into this users guide and see everything that you need to know about this particular server. Now, here in WindowMaker, it's time to get to the configuration of our access names. So to get to that configuration, you can go here in the Tools area, or if you're old school like me, you would go to Special and Access Names. You see the access names that are here already. If you want to create another one, you click Add, or we can modify this existing one, which has already been configured for the Unscrambler PLC. So So if you recall, the node name is where we expect this DAServer to be running. To verify this, we can always go to our command prompt and ping that particular node. So we can ping cselfpc, and we see that we get a reply from it. You can also use the sweet link ping from Wonderware, where you specify the PC name as well as the application, in this case the DAServer that you expect to be running there, and it says that it is. This is a handy tool for when you're troubleshooting communications to DAServers that are on remote nodes. Also, if you're having trouble resolving this node name to a TCP/IP address, there's a couple of options for you. First, you can simply type in the TCP/IP address directly, or you could use the manual sort of host file here located in this folder on the development machine, and don't forget to do it on the client runtime node as well. Edit this file with Notepad, put your IP address in and the name you expect it to be resolved to. That may get you around some issues. So back in Window Maker, we look at the topic name here, which has to match exactly with the topic that has been configured here in the device groups for your PLC. So the topic essentially says we're going to pull the PLC at this particular update interval. You can create as many of these as you like with different polling intervals, slower and faster. And then you simply reference those here in your access names by creating a new access name with each of the topics. The node, application, and topic is a unique combination. Remember to always use SweetLink and advise only active items, and so the access name configuration is complete. It's pretty simple. Now to close this out, we'll bring it full circle, so we'll create a tag now that references that access name. Here in the tag name dictionary, we'll create a new tag. We'll call it tank1 level. Type of tag is going to be IO, meaning the data is coming from some source external to InTouch. We'll make it a real number. We'll choose the Unscrambler PLC access name. And then finally, the fourth and final part is the item name itself, which is the address in the PLC. We'll call that tank1.level. So we've seen the DAServer configuration, the InTouch access name configuration, and we've created a new IO tag that references an item in the PLC. So now that you have these items taken care of, now it's time to go have some fun and develop your InTouch application. Thank you for watching.